What's up guys, it's your boy Oxy back with another video, and today we're going to be reviewing a couple things that have actually been pretty recently new, I guess you could say. And it's dealing with a little bit of my TikTok stuff that I actually transitioned into actual serious stuff. I'll explain it all in a second, but let's get started. So this started off kind of like a little joke. I was looking around with my camera and I was like, dude, I've been seeing a lot of these POV things on TikTok and whatnot. And I was like, honestly, I can do POVs. That's pretty easy enough. And I started making some, and I actually kind of liked going back into my storytelling because like that's kind of one of my little side things I like to do is I like to write out a lot of stories, put a lot of things together in my head that it kind of just like flow into whatever it is, curvy, bumpy, any type of road I feel. And so I decided, you know what, let's go over and start making actual legitimate type of videos with characters. So rather than just doing like a POV of like, oh, you are in my room and I decided to say hello. No, we're not doing any of those because those ones are pretty like basic-ish. Unless you're like really huge on just doing POVs, then people will love that because it's more consistent. And me, as you obviously know, I am not that consistent. I can't just consistently be continuously making random POVs because I'm a dancer, I'm an artist, I'm all this other stuff too. So in order to showcase a little bit of the extra side, I decided to go on the little cinematography base because I have a really good camera, as you guys can tell, and I like using it more often when it comes to other people's videos. So I was like, let me try doing this for myself for a change. Let's see what happens. So basically I started making these little 3-part series little by little. Like I did actually like a couple of them on TikTok to where I was like, you know, I'm placing an idea and a character in your head, and then I have a little bit of a story to it, whether it be like a fighting thing, whether it be like special effects. All of them kind of derange off of a character, an idea, and then I kind of just roll with it for a cool second. Like even with my ninja one was actually pretty cool because I actually was able to use my ninja sword for the first time in a video, which is really cool because of what it has on it. But outside of that, there was this new series that I actually was waiting to start making, and then I finally got enough courage to actually do it. And so this is what we're explaining and this is what we're reviewing. Finally got through all like the long introduction. I am super sorry for that. So basically I'm going to explain this in parts because when I put them out, I kind of put them out part by part. The final part has dropped, which is why I'm doing the whole behind the scenes, the video on, you know, basically putting the whole story together with extra little details because I didn't feel like doing too much as far as like social media, and with TikTok only being like minimum of 150 characters and all that random crap, it makes it a lot easier if I explain it in an actual video later on. So let's get going.
I need your attention. This is a serious matter. Everything we do is just a serious matter.
I'm ready.
I'd like to think so. But conviction must be proven with action. Kid, I need you focused.
So a question that's been asked a lot when it came to the first part of the series was, where are you getting your inspiration? Where are you getting your audio? Now, I was always thinking about this because I love the horror genre when it comes to video games, and there's a lot of dialogue and a lot of extra video game content or scary movie content, but obviously copyright is more towards the scary movie stuff. In video games, you can do whatever you want. So I kind of went with the video game audio. And so one of my favorite horror games of all time, The Evil Within, there was a DLC that they have that comes up with this like dark, menacing character where you're basically playing a bad guy inside of a bad guy's organization. Pretty dope. Like I didn't feel like being a good guy this time. I felt like being like on the more darker side. And so this is basically the story. Now, upon the initiation, the idea is they're putting me up for a mission. They're starting me up and getting me pretty much prepped and ready. And this is a serious mission, so they say. Overall, it's actually just a test.
So tell me, why send me alone?
You won't be alone. You'll be with your team from KPD. In regards to your mission, they're expendable. I needn't remind you the consequences for failure. Loyalty is a sensitive subject for us. Trust is such a valued commodity in today's world.
Now, going into this from the start, I am pretty much ready to go. And I'm going into this thing leading into part 2 when I'm like, all right, I am basically fully prepared and equipped to handle this job. I've been working in this initiation process and working through all of my training to get to this point. Now it's time for me to go out into the field. Going out into the field, however, actually seemed not as worthwhile as it was meant to be because it just felt too easy.
I've laid out everything in terms of security measures. I can find my way around everything pretty easily. But this place feels so wrong.
You're always welcome here.
And the nurse,
Please, sign in here.
her voice.
This way, please.
The way that everything's going around just feels like a nightmare.
And most of you guys would probably relate to this. If you've worked super hard at something and you really want to continue to grow in that area, you would be kind of surprised if when you finally started to do it, it just happened to be way too easy. Like, not just easy, like too easy. So let's backpedal one little quick second and let's talk about the mission. The mission is go into an insane asylum and go up and take out a nurse. Yes, we're doing some crazy crap here right from the jump. So this insane asylum, which, spoiler, it doesn't exist. I go into this and I'm hearing the nurse's voice as if it's like a ghost. It's like literally like hovering through the halls and hovering through my ears, literally everywhere I go. And basically through that voice, it's trying to tell me that I'm working for the wrong cause. There's so many things wrong with the agency and they're not showing me their true nature. Now for me, my character is pretty curious when it comes to that because it's like, oh, that's weird. I've been training for quite some time about this and I feel pretty confident in my work and as well as the people that I'm working for. It's pretty weird how all of a sudden there's so much more truth behind it that I am basically getting just gifted. It's one thing to go looking for it, but for this case, like, I didn't look for it. It kind of just was like, hey, yo, it's here. So continuing on with the story, I go up into the sign-in sheet after a couple of days, you know, surveying and going into the place, and it starts. There's a trance that comes in where this lady is basically explaining to me that this is not what I want to be with, or just basically this is what your agency is actually for. Like, there's so many things that you don't know and all this other stuff. Like, it's one thing to kind of just hear it, but after that, once you see it and you kind of just like, oh crap, like what is going on, that's what leads us into that part.
Hey, do you know anything that's going on around here? Something's off. What's going on? It's like he can't even hear me.
You are all right. Please, relax. Please, have a seat.
You're weak, kid. And you're disappointing us.
Don't you think it's time that you moved on to the task at hand?
After that, we're going into part 4. Now I am with my partner, one of the partners from my cover, Identity, who comes in and everything and is like, yo, like, it feels, again, so wrong just being there with him. And it's like, I gotta find out more about the agency, because maybe even this officer that I'm working with could be a part of the scheme, could be a part of the plan. I don't even know it. And the thing about the organization is they're everywhere. So my cover identity, which is being a detective, is basically handled by me and a partner of mine on the police department. And going through, I was like, dude, like, it's pretty interestingly crazy when you see him acting a certain way as he arrives into the place. So I'm like, okay, there has to be something going on. And that's when the nurse's voice comes back into my head. And I'm like, ah, crap. I gotta find out. I gotta know what's going on. I gotta really like understand what is, like, how can I grasp this understanding? And that's when she shows me. She shows me basically what's going to happen to me, which I don't find out until later when I realize what is going on, that this is all a setup. But it makes it show all of these terrible things that could happen to me, and I react. So from that situation, I basically go rogue on these people and I take out the detective that they went and set up as my partner, and it goes into me wanting to take out the actual agency itself. I hope you're following along. I got a little bit of visuals on the side too, so if it helps a lot, you know, you got a little bit of stuff to follow there that's kind of just looping on the side there. Just go with it. It's gonna help your mind process what's going on here.
Swerving in the streets, got you nervous that I'm really murking murder on the beat. Been a birdie, now I'm really working in you Tennessee. Boy, serving, got your bitch, she working, twerking in the sheets. Hey, get the fuck out of my way.
So I get over to the agency, and my goal is one thing: take out the boss. Okay, if I'm gonna take down an agency that was basically betraying me, my first instinct is to go for the head. Okay, and as I'm doing that, he sends his right-hand man. His right-hand man basically starts this shooting for every reason that he needs to protect his boss. And even little stuff about me are changing, and I'm like, all right, I have to get this guy. So it goes into basically with the song, you know, the whole like, get the out of my way. That's that whole thing. Don't worry about it. It's just part of the TikTok trend that I was also doing as well with that. It's crazy how you had to tie everything in, you know? And I take him down. I defeat the right-hand man. And under my understanding, my knowledge, and my assumption, all at once, I assumed he was dead. But I was wrong.
I had such hope for you.
Well, boss, looks like this one was the closest one to getting you. Too bad he failed in the end. Sorry about this, kid.
Listen, you can still stop this. If you were anything like me, I know that you wouldn't be doing this.
See, I don't
Think you understand, kid. I am you.
Inside of the final part, we go over to a part where I finally step up to the boss, and I'm ready to go up and take those final moments and destroy everything that he's ever built. For some reason, he's extremely calm and basically says that he saw so much more potential in me. And then the right-hand man gets up. And he actually speaks too for the first time. This is actually one of those moments where like some people speak and some people don't. I actually gave everybody a voice that was involved. He had his voice and everything and basically said like, yeah, this kid actually almost got to you. Like he really almost killed you and almost really made it. He's the closest one. And right from there, you could probably tell there was many more than me who tried this, or many more that went over to this attempt. Now I get knocked out. And from getting knocked out, I wake up inside of this abandoned area, and the right-hand man is right there standing before me, and I find out that this is the kicker. I am a clone. So now the reason why I went through this whole thing, the reason why I made this ending, and the reason why all this other stuff, that is why the explanation is here. Now the reason why I went for this type of ending is because if I'm going for a horror theme, I kind of like, not really like a horror theme, but like a horror spy theme, I guess you could say. It's more like situational horror. If I'm going for that type of vibe, I would like for the ending to not resolve itself. If anything, cliffhangers are the best way to like grab people's attention to want more. So I ended it on a pretty heavy cliffhanger. The whole clone thing was basically like a little bit of a knock onto the Resident Evil movie series, because in the Resident Evil movie series, there was one perfect person, and the organization Umbrella basically wanted to make clones to finalize and make an exact copy of this person. That's basically what I wanted to do. The right-hand man for the boss is the perfect assassin or perfect individual for the job. And so the cloning process was literally him testing versions of himself. And then if they didn't make it, then he'd take them out. As you can see, this was subject to 410, so there was a lot of failures on this one. And 410 is basically another little thing because April 10th is my birthday, which is this Friday. So I decided to like throw myself a little cookie in there. You know, I feel like it. I feel like I deserve it. Yeah. Last but not least, is this going to continue? I absolutely don't know. I really don't. I haven't decided whether or not I want to go through that process or not. It's a little bit harder as far as like filming and doing all this thing by myself, which by all means, let me give the credit where it's due real quick. Now, as far as the gunshots that you see, I don't like doing those little fake blur screen or whatever screen things. So I actually have a small little crew that helped me as far as the lighting goes. The lighting was by my girlfriend Angie, was by my little siblings Dylan and Serenity. So they helped out a lot with that. And then as far as the extra people, okay, the extra people that also played a part inside of the series itself, my homeboy Kevin, you'll be able to see a little bit of stuff that he's working on as well. Instagram will be linked inside of the bio description. That's what it is, description. And then obviously, like, you guys were probably wondering who the bad guy was. The bad guy was me, the clone was me, and me was me. Okay, one thing that I will say that can enhance anybody's work is going to be the way that they are lighting their subject. Lighting is everything when it came to these videos. Lighting was like the peak. So there's lighting, and then there's sound design. Like a lot of filmmakers, when it comes to sounds, there just isn't enough sounds that you can have naturally unless you always apply extra little details on them. But you always want that crisp little extra sounds in there. Now, every single one of those sounds have been added in there. Actually, the entire last scene, there was nothing in there that was original audio from the camera. Everything was either recorded after, or it was put in from Epidemic Sound or something like that. So sound design is everything, especially when you're trying to give somebody a feeling when you're making your films, or for my case, short films. If you haven't checked it out, if you haven't looked at or checked out the entire series, go over to my Instagram and you can see the entire series from beginning to end, because, well, now the entire thing is out. And I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching this video. It means a lot. Give it a like, give it a subscribe, all that good stuff. And I will see you guys next time, okay? Next time, we're actually going to be explaining on some pretty heavy things about a game that I really was disappointed about. So we'll tune in on that one on the next episode. Okay, see you guys later.